This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we broadcast Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We always, and I do mean always, encourage you to participate in the conversation. If you have a question or a comment that you would like to make, you're more than welcome to give us a phone call. Irv and I would be most delighted to hear from you. You can reach us right here in the studio at 347-857-3958. Again, that number is 347-857-3958. Irv, how was your day today, sir?
Man, I had a great day today, man. You know what I did? I got up really early this morning and got everything out of the way that I normally would be scrambling to do following the show.
Really?
Yeah.
What encouraged you to do that?
Well, because I didn't want nothing to do after the show.
Well, that makes sense. You know, you have been scrambling all week. You've been teaching a class.
That's right.
I think for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, for the last couple of weeks, we've graduated. Actually, thanks for bringing that up.
Not a problem.
Been teaching a class on government supply contracting.
Okay.
And I'm happy to say that we've graduated 2 classes this month. And these guys are really, really, really doing well. And the KBC, I can't say enough about the folks over at Kingdom Builder Center here in Houston. John, they've been so supportive of the program. And in fact, we've got our next open orientation, our seminar, is actually coming up next Friday. On the 30th.
Really?
And so we'll be meeting over
same
there.
Topic?
Same thing, same topic, but each period, class period, we have kind of a seminar just to get people oriented with what we're going to be talking about and give them some information so that they can kind of learn about what government supply contracting is, what some of those opportunities might be, and whether or not that'd be worth the investment.
Now, when are you going to make this class so that our listeners that are outside of the Houston footprint can take advantage of this education?
Actually, I'm glad you asked that. We are working on that right now.
Okay.
We needed to get about 5 or 6 classes through the system.
Okay.
And our reasoning for that, obviously, is because some of these folks are really, really talented, and we really want to have something to measure with, to give some of those outside people some realistic expectations about the results of the program.
Okay.
And so that is absolutely coming.
Yeah, because I'm certain that some people are going to be interested in hearing that wealth
Sure.
of information that you espouse in these classes, and they can use that in their own neck of the woods.
Absolutely, they can. And in fact, we've already gotten invitations from the state of Louisiana. We've already gotten invitations from the state of Arkansas. And interestingly enough, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation has reached out to us about the program already.
Now, how many weeks if someone does sign up for the course, how many weeks is the course?
Well, that's what's cool about it. It's a 12-hour certificate course, so that you literally start on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's 12 class hours, real class hours. So you do 6 hours on Saturday, and then you do 3 2-hour sessions the following week. So the schedule sort of goes 6 hours on Saturday. You pick up on Monday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.,
mm-hmm.
Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., and then Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And on the Thursday, that's actually your exit exam.
Wow, there is an exam.
Yes, there is an exam, and it's a real one.
Wow, so you do have to pay attention, take good notes, and you do have to pass this class.
That's right.
Is there any math?
Yes, there's some math,
wow.
and in fact, there's quite a bit of math, but we have tools.
Such as what? Calculators?
Well, yeah, you can use calculators, of course. Calculators and computers, folks. You can use tools. You can come to class, and we have tools to help you develop your pricing strategy, and that's really what's key. That's one of the reasons what's made our program different than everybody else's is because we're actually teaching people in the class to implement and execute a pricing strategy.
Now, what is a pricing strategy?
A pricing strategy is how you go about arriving at a bid price depending on the opportunity. For example, if there was a bid opportunity to supply concrete on a particular construction project, well, some people have a pricing strategy where they say, okay, they call up the concrete guy and they say how much per yard of concrete. They give them a price and then they mark it up X percent.
Mm-hmm.
And then they throw their hat in the ring.
And that's not the right way to do it?
Well, let's just say it's not the best way to do it if you're planning on winning and making money.
Okay.
A lot of people bid that way, and so I don't want to say it's wrong, but
that's one way to do it.
But that's one way to do it, but it's tough to keep your margins.
Okay.
And it's tough to keep your margins consistent because the strategy is what ultimately keeps your profitability and keeps your margins steady.
Well, you know, and I've never, first of all, let me first say that I've never done business with a city or government municipality.
Sure.
And so I don't really know that process. I actually take a back seat to you when you're talking about this, and I'm learning as much as you're speaking. But I would think that when doing a bid, it's more than just putting a customary 15% or 20% on top of that number. I also have to take into account how many employees, what my true cost to provide this service, the insurance that I'm going to have to carry, you know, all of that. I would think that all of that should go into creating my bid price.
Now, guess what, John? That's why people who do not have a strategy now you just listed why people who do not have a strategy, people who have not been formally trained on how to do this, a lot of times get into contracting opportunities where they literally lose money.
Well, and I was just about to say, I've known contractors who have actually won bids.
Sure.
And they have put, 25% on top of the bid.
And lost money.
And then halfway through it, say, man, I'm losing my backside on this deal. I'm like, why? Are they not paying? No, they're paying.
Yeah, they're paying, but they're not making any money.
I didn't take into account all of these other fees, these other expenses, or losses, meaning that if I have damaged equipment.
Correct.
So all of that, to me, has to be taken into account.
It absolutely has to, and not only that, but the second thing is a lot of people get into contracting, John, without formal training, and so what happens is they take opportunities, quite frankly, that they should not have taken. That's the other side of the coin. Part of this is making sure that you're getting into opportunities that you can be excited about, and you can be excited about those opportunities, folks, because you can expect to win.
Well, let me ask you this. What's your opinion on someone, say like myself?
Sure.
I just admitted that I've never done any business with a city or a government
sure
agency.
Sure.
And I want to win a bid.
Yeah. I
have the opportunity to bid on something.
Right.
And I want to go after like this $3 or $4 million bid.
Yeah.
But I've no experience in putting any of the paperwork together. What are your thoughts?
Wait a minute. And then I'm your consultant?
And you're my consultant?
Then, okay, so first of all, you have to agree to give me veto power.
Oh, man, that's tough. That's tough.
See, because if I'm your consultant and you're going to get into contracting, that's a place where you can really get hurt badly.
Okay.
And so, as your consultant, I'm going to ask you to grant me veto power on whatever it is you think you want to do.
Okay.
And that's part of that is to keep you safe. And the minute you're brand new and you come to me with a $4 million opportunity, I'm going to veto that. All right. Because of a couple of things. One, the qualifications for you to even qualify. See, there's nothing to stop you from bidding.
Surely.
But once you've turned in that number, and now you're disqualified because you didn't follow the procedures or you simply didn't have the experience.
No track record.
No track record. No government buyer is going to stick their neck out for $4 million in an acquisition with a brand new company. That is not going to happen.
So realistically speaking, for the folks who are paying attention to this, if you're one of those individuals, then what should you do? If you're looking to get into winning contracts.
Right.
What's the strategy?
Start on the supply side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me an idea of what that means. What type of product or service are we talking about?
I would start with the products.
Okay.
And there are about and we talk about this in the orientation too, John, which is great. We've already done the research, John. There are about 25 classes of commodities that all 7 levels of government purchase on a regular basis. There's only 25 out of all those millions and millions of products. There's only about 25 classes of items that these guys purchase.
So if you're selling one of these 25 items or a couple of these, you have a greater chance of selling them to all levels of government.
That's correct. Exactly, all 7.
Now, would you encourage me to start small if I'm just getting started out there?
Exactly.
And what is small?
Under 100,000.
Okay.
Yeah, an average.
So I'm not gonna hit a home run on my first bid. I mean, on my first contract.
No. That because you've got to give yourself time to not only learn all the moving pieces and parts, but more importantly, so that those agencies can develop some trust and you can develop some credibility and experience in dealing with that. And so part of the idea, just to give you an example, most of the people who are coming through our classes, most of these guys are being trained to go after opportunities that are $100,000 and down, and with the average contract being about $50,000.
Well, one of the things that I'm huge on is setting the right expectation.
Right.
And I think that you're doing a good job of that by letting these people know, this is something that you could do very well in.
Sure.
If you do it properly and ramp up in the appropriate time.
Absolutely.
Or you could take yourself completely out of the game and give yourself a bad name and have to start doing business with the city of Brookshire.
Yeah. Oh man, you're gonna start the mail early, aren't you?
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. Small Business Today magazine is a magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. If you would like to get your free copy of the publication that we print every single month, you can go to www.smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, put your email information in, and we will send you one every single month to your email inbox. More in a moment with Cruz and Hughes. Stay with us. Don't go away.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
This storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv, I thought that we would talk a little bit today about the banking business.
Hey, let's talk about banks.
Well, I mean, you're sitting here with all that knowledge in your head, and I figured that we would, I'd ask some questions and get you to sort of kick some things around. We had a great call yesterday with a young lady who was looking to do a type of home health business, but the business that she was looking to go in, the patients would stay and receive that care. They would reside where they're receiving care.
They'd be residents
at her place of business.
Correct.
And that sort of changes the dynamic in terms of what a favorable business is. And one of the things I did want to clear up today is what an unfavorable industry is, what a high-risk industry is, and what a favorable industry is as perceived by the banks who would be looking at your loan documents. And the business that you're in is equally as important to someone that's putting cash into it.
That's exactly right.
As the paperwork that you provide in terms of, them wanting to see your executive summary, your financials, and possibly some type of information on what level of experience that you have. So your industry is really important.
Your industry is vitally important. And let me just tell you, folks, being a former commercial banker myself, one of the things that's a challenge for a lot of people is they don't take a look at the industry.
Right.
We did a show earlier this week talking about what industries are looking to grow and what will be growth industries and what those growth rates are. But like our caller, your passion may be pushing you into an industry where there is so much risk and so much failure that the lending community has opted out of your industry.
Right.
So what that means in English, John, is that you can go in there with an 840 credit score.
Right.
You can go in there with plenty of money to put in the deal. You can go in there with a great location. You can have a great business plan. And guess what? You are not, hear me, folks, you are not going to get access to any capital for that.
So I thought we'd take a little bit of time today to just sort of talk about some of the things that you do need to be focused on.
Sure.
Now, first of all, let's cover this. Now, if you are a small business person, and I love the setup you just gave me when you talk about having excellent credit, but being in an industry that may be considered very, very unfavorable.
Right.
You're going to have to figure out what's the best option for you to be able to get money to inject that cash into your business. But let's talk about what your options are as a business owner.
Okay.
You can receive credit from suppliers.
Sure.
You can get lease financing.
Absolutely, for your equipment, yeah.
You can get bank loans.
Yes.
You can sell stock.
Yes.
You could sell bonds.
Yes.
Or you could factor receivables.
That's correct.
Am I missing anything?
No.
Okay.
Those are your options, especially if you're a startup.
Now, if you are a startup, to do any of those things, I gotta drive this point home. Even if you're putting together something where you're going to sell stock to somebody, if you're getting a bank finance loan, if you're going to lease some equipment, paperwork.
Man, you gotta have documents, folks. These back fence deals are going to get you hurt.
So let's talk about some of the paperwork. Now,
sure.
What exactly should every business owner be able to put their hands on within about 30 minutes?
A personal financial statement. Personal financial statement is a big deal. It's a critical part of the qualifying process. Now, a personal financial statement, folks, is very similar to the balance sheet in your company. In fact, you can think of it much like you do a balance sheet. In your company, a balance sheet has three things on it. It has your assets, it has your liabilities, and it has your equity. Okay? It's very much like that with a personal financial statement. You have a balance sheet. In your personal financial statement, you have assets, you have liabilities, and you have a net worth amount. Okay? Which is very similar to the net worth of your company. So one of the first things that you want to do the minute you start thinking about, hear me, the minute you start thinking about, you might want to go after some money go ahead and pull together a personal financial statement, because everyone is going to ask you for it, especially if you're going to a bank.
So personal financial statement is definitely number one on the list.
Number one on the list.
We want to be able to have that ready to show to raise any type of capital. I can't think of anybody who would not want to see it if they're going to loan you money or invest money into your
folks, if they're taking you seriously,
certainly.
They're going to ask for a personal financial statement. You might as well pull that thing together.
All right, your personal financial statement.
Sure.
You mentioned a balance sheet.
Yes. So that's from the business.
That's from the business.
Right. Now, and while we're talking about balance sheets, folks, the balance sheet can take one of two forms. It can be the actual balance sheet because you've been in business, maybe generating some revenue. Or it can be a pro forma balance sheet where you're a startup and that's something that needs to come out of your business plan. In other words, I see people, John, who have business plans for startups that don't include financials. Right. If you paid somebody to do that, just here's a little tip. You've been robbed. Okay. All right.
And why do you say that?
Because there's no such thing as a business plan with no financials.
Okay.
All right. It's not a business plan now. Now what you have is some narrative.
Okay. Now I got to stop you right there, because there are a lot of startups that are depending on bank financing in order to get money.
Sure.
And they're putting their business plan together, and they get down to the balance sheet and then they create these numbers based on how they feel they're going to do.
Yep.
Is that right or is that not right?
No, that's wrong.
Okay.
It's not right. It's wrong. You can't pull numbers out of thin air and put them in a business.
Where should I get numbers from? Let's say that I'm going to open up a bowling alley.
Sure. Great.
And I want to get some bank financing.
That's right.
I don't know. I know everything about managing a bowling alley. I think I'm going to be a pretty good owner of one. But I need to put a pro forma together to show my banker to make them feel comfortable with what type of revenue that this business can generate. Where do I get those numbers?
Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look up your industry code, what we call your NAICS code. That's your NAICS code. That stands for, if you're going to Google this, you're going to look for North America Industry Coding System. That's what NAICS stands for. And you're going to put NAICS, you're going to put bowling alley, and it's going to come up with a number, and then you're going to go to census.gov. You're going to put in that code, and that's going to tell you not only how many establishments are in the United States that are in your particular industry, and from that, you're going to be able to pull up something called benchmarks so that you can compare your business plan to all other bowling alleys of your same or similar size across the country. We call that benchmarking, and that's how you arrive at these numbers.
Okay, now I got to stop you right there.
Okay.
If you're watching this show or if you're listening to us right now on Blog Talk Radio, I want you to go back and listen to the last 45 seconds of what Irv just said. I'm gonna express how important that really is. Now, Irv is a commercial banker, an ex-commercial banker.
Right.
So I want you to understand that any person that is smart enough to have enough money to lend to you, when you bring them a pro forma into their office, what do you think that they're going to do with it? They're going to do exactly what you just said.
That is exactly what they're going to do.
When I go to NAICS,
right,
and when I pull up your industry and I look at the benchmarks and then I compare your numbers versus what everybody else is doing. Now, let's say that your profit margin is somewhere between 16 and 20% for that industry, whatever industry that is.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, you're operating based on your pro forma. You're going to operate at 40%.
Right.
Profit.
Right.
Based on what?
Exactly.
What are you going to do different?
Exactly.
Everybody else in the industry nationwide
they
already doing.
They all missed it. And so now you just put yourself in a really funny spot, because now, guess what, folks? Your banker is going to come along and say, I noticed that you're running 20%, you're projecting to run 20% ahead of your industry. Can you show us what you have based that on? He's going to ask you something similar to that, folks, and that's called substantiation. He's going to want you to substantiate how you can feel comfortable being 20% ahead, to project 20% ahead of your industry peers.
That's strong. If you're doing something like that, you better be able to substantiate.
You better be able,
or
to
else you better find you another banker to do business with, and
exactly
then fix those numbers. Now, and the thing is, Irv, you're a consultant.
Sure.
You talk to businesses all the time and helping them to prepare their paperwork. Right. And when we come back from break, I want to talk about a little bit about what you do, versus what you're paid for, and then what actually happens on the performance side as it relates to consulting.
Be happy to.
But I definitely want to toot your horn here for a minute that if you are in business right now and you're putting numbers together and it's just not your thing, first of all, I don't make a dime off of when somebody hires you.
That's right.
I have to make that statement.
That's true.
I am John Cruz, and I approve that statement. I don't make a dime whether or not you hire Irv or not. But the thing is that you should consider hiring someone like Irvin, because having those numbers right means so much when you go in to talk to a banker or someone who's looking to invest in your business. If you take your business seriously, you have to take your numbers seriously. And I definitely want to encourage you to reach out to someone and get help. More in a moment. We're going to talk a little bit more about consultants, what they do for you, and then we're going to come back to talking about bank loans.
All right, super. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, and it's brought to you by RingCentral.com. To get RingCentral's virtual PBX for your business, you can call them today at 888-716-5022. Stay with us, folks. The education continues right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is?
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan.
The storm's coming.
The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking a little bit about banking. If you missed the last segment, again, I encourage you to go to our website, which is www.cruiseandhughes.com. You can always listen to our archives in their entirety. And Irv is just giving some very, very good information. Reasons why people hire him, he espoused in the last segment as it relates to understanding your performer. If you're just starting your business, not only does your business plan have to be right, your executive summary has to be right, but all of those parts have to equal what's on your balance sheet.
That's exactly
And there
right.
is a place that you get those numbers. You just do not pull those numbers out of a hat, and you have to do it according to the industry that you're in.
Right.
Now, moving forward, let's talk a little bit about consultants.
Sure.
Because I think consultants sometimes get a bad rap.
Yeah.
But then I think that consultants sometimes get exactly what they deserve.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
I want to know, when someone hires you as a consultant, bottom line, straightforward, I got to treat you like a politician on this one.
All right. Fair enough.
I want a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Do you guarantee the performance of the documents that you do for me?
No. Absolutely.
So you don't make me believe then if you help me prepare a package,
correct,
you help me with my executive summary, my
correct,
business plan,
correct,
you help me do my modeling,
correct,
you'll even help me do my numbers so my balance sheet looks something similar to what the rest of the market is doing. But you don't guarantee that I'm going to receive any type of financing of any
No, I cannot guarantee outcome.
Okay.
And look, folks, anytime you're hiring a consultant and a consultant throws around the word guarantee to you, all right, just a little tip, okay? Don't walk, run away from them, all right? Because for someone to guarantee an outcome, and really no professionals get paid for outcome. They get paid for performance. I spent a short period in the NFL, in the front office of the NFL franchise. And one of the things, these guys play on Sunday, John, and they get a game check on Wednesday. All right. Now, most of these guys on average make around $100,000, $150,000 a week. Okay. And the thing that you have to get your head around is they're going to pick up a game check no matter what the scoreboard said. You follow?
I'm with you.
They didn't have to win the game for them to get paid for performing in the game. It's the same thing with stockbrokers. It's the same thing with attorneys. You can pay them. You're going to pay them their fees. But guess what? Depending on what the judge is going to say, they have no way to guarantee that, hey, I can get you off from this crime, this thing you did.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody's saying that to you, they're overstepping because now they're setting a false expectation. And so the same goes with a consultant. When you come to a consultant, one of the first things that you do is you find out what the deliverables are, because ultimately that is what you're paying for, the preparation of those deliverables.
And that should be identified before you engage that consultant.
Absolutely.
What am I getting?
Yes, that's what a deliverable is. Conversely, please do not hire a consultant who cannot tell you what the deliverables are going to be, estimate, and the key word here is estimate what the timeline is going to be for the delivery of those, okay, and what steps are that consultant is going to go through to actually develop those deliverables. If that guy can't tell you what those steps are, you got trouble.
Now, you and I had a pretty good debate.
Yes.
On this topic.
Yeah.
And at first I was on the side of no, if I'm hiring a consultant, I want guaranteed performance.
Right.
But after listening to the way that you put things,
sure,
and understanding that as long as we establish what you should expect to take away from this arrangement, because I'm certain if someone were to engage you and say, look, I need you to guarantee that you can get me $150,000 for my business.
Correct.
Can I pay your fee?
No. And I appreciate you setting it up that way, because I do that every day.
Right.
I get that every day.
Right.
I heard you can get me $2 million for my startup. Now, that to me, that's like going into the doctor and saying, okay, doc, I feel bad. And the doc says, well, what's the matter? I say, I don't know. You tell me. You're the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, see, now I got issues.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And I get that all the time. And the other side of the coin is this, John. I've never met anyone who wants to pay a consultant.
No, none of us do.
I've never met
an attorney.
I've never met anyone who wants to pay an attorney or a CPA or a consultant of any type in any industry. I've just never met those people.
Yeah, but we do it because we have to.
Yeah, well, exactly right. I had one guy who was really cool. He told me, he said, first of all, I appreciate you at least taking the time to visit with me. And he says, how much is this going to cost? I says, it's not going to cost anything. We're just talking.
Yeah.
All right. So that's point number one. And then he says to me, he says, well, I guess you should know that I'm really reluctant to pay any consultant. And I said, well, it just means you're a prudent person.
Yeah.
To me,
nothing's wrong with that.
Nothing's wrong with that. You've got to know what the value is. I said, because the first thing that tells me is, first of all, you're in good company because I've never met anyone who wants to pay a consultant.
Right.
But with that said, and that really helped him a lot because I wanted him to relax about this idea about money because we didn't even need to talk about money. We need to talk about the deal.
Right. You don't even know if you can help this guy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why we're meeting, because I've got to have, there's skin in the game for me too, John. Yeah. I'll be honest, that I like winning.
Right.
Okay. And I really do. When somebody comes to me saying, hey, help me get some money together for my business, I want us to win.
Certainly.
Did you hear that? Us.
Certainly.
I want us to win. I'm not going to get a dime of that.
And I got to say this, when you helped Ernie Jackson with his deal, I noticed your terminology as you were pitching the deal.
Right.
You referred to it as our deal.
That's
us,
right. That's right.
Ernie and I.
That's right.
And I like the fact that you take ownership of your client's deal and you want to see them get that deal funded.
Absolutely, I do. And do I win 100% of the time? No. And I've had people ask me that. Well, do you win 100% of the time? Well, no, I don't. And well, what is the amount of time you win? About 60, sometimes 80.
Yeah.
On a good month, it's 80.
Yeah.
But about 60 is on average.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I have to make sure that we're going to the right lenders. I have to make sure that when that lender asks me out of the room, because they're going to ultimately want to talk to you alone without your consultant.
Yeah.
That you don't say something crazy and kill the deal.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of things that'll happen when I'm done that I have no control of.
Certainly.
And that's why, for example, I was telling you about this one we did years ago. It was like $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Seafood processing plant. Got the deal, got the letter, ready from the lender, getting ready to close. The guy flies down to Florida and fires the CEO.
I remember you telling me about
it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's still a sticking point. I never got over it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're not going to live that one down.
No, I can't live that one down. He fires the CEO. The lender's calling me going, what just happened?
Yeah.
And do you honestly expect me now to put $100 million of my money in this deal when there's no CEO?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, with that being said, I think we've given you some prudent tips to consider when you're hiring a consultant.
Yeah.
Understand what the deliverables are, and any consultant that is rushing you to write a check before they thoroughly understood what your issue is,
back up.
You should probably just leave.
Back up.
But let's talk about industries.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who believe, contrary to what their banker may believe, that their business is recession proof. That this is a win-win deal. There's no risk here. All of those types of statements. I know it makes you cringe. It makes your flesh crawl.
That's
I know.
All bad language.
But I'm going to give some examples of unfavorable industries, high-risk industries, and then what the banks consider to be favorable, and you just chime in anytime you like. Now, understand something. I'm doing this as a whole. Now, every single bank, they don't produce a list that they all agree to that these industries are unfavorable, high risk, or favorable.
Correct.
This is just an average. By and large, this is what you'll see out in the industry. So, unfavorable industries: car lots, restaurants, tanning salons, pawn shops, check cashing or money service businesses, brokerages, nail and beauty stores, liquor stores, strip clubs, gentlemen's clubs, or whatever fancy name you want to put on that, nightclubs, third payment processing companies, collection agencies, charter schools, all of which are examples of unfavorable industries, which means that when you come in the door to do business with your bank, already they're skeptical of your deal before having seen your personal credit.
That's right.
Your business credit,
That's right.
your financials. They're skeptical because these businesses have performed poorly in the past.
Yes, and when we say in the past, folks, we're talking about over a 10-year span. Okay, so over the past 10 years, these industries, you got to remember, your banker, folks, has empirical data that he's going by.
Right.
All right. He's got nothing in his data that gives him even the slightest indication that that industry is going to recover the minute you get your loan.
Certainly. Absolutely. Now, before we go to break, I want to go through high risk. High risk is landscapers, trucking industries, auto repair shops, gas stations, nursing homes, fitness centers, that sort of thing. Those are all examples of high risk, but not necessarily unfavorable. And I do want to make the point that just because an industry may be considered unfavorable does not mean that it's unfinanceable.
That's correct.
So we definitely want to clear that up. There are ways for you to bring that level of skepticism in your banker down, but you do so by providing them the type of information and documentation that makes them comfortable.
And that's where a consultant is extremely valuable.
And see, and these are the things that a consultant can bring out to you, because there's certain documents that I think should exist in your loan package. If you know that your business is unfavorable, there's certain things that I would include in my package to help you feel a little more warm and chummy about my deal.
That's exactly right.
You know, especially if I have some type of long-term contract, if the person that I have the contract with has a great business reputation.
That's right.
I don't know what else I could show.
Well, I can tell you one thing real quick, and that is this. If you're in a high-risk industry, or you're in an industry that's considered by the finance industry to be unfavorable, a contract helps immensely. With a large credit-worthy customer, and we can maybe touch on that when we come back.
Certainly.
All right, folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. Listen, when you need credit help, get the Lexington Law Firm, folks. You can get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. We'll return right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me? Heavy news?
you know, disastrous, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about bank financing.
That's right.
And the aspects of bank financing that you should be apprised of. We're not really digging down deep the way we've done in the past. We're just sort of jumping and hitting some topics. And one of the things that we're talking about right now are industries.
Right.
What industry are you in, and how does the bank that you're looking for money from, how do they view that industry? It's either going to be one of three ways: unfavorable, high risk, or as a favorable industry.
That's correct.
Now, we talked about unfavorable industries. We talked about what high risk companies are.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about what the bank considers favorable. And let me warn you, this list is short.
That's right.
And it may be so for a reason. But home health care companies where you will send a nurse out to treat patients in their home is favorable.
Right.
But if you have that patient receiving care in your place of business and residing there at the same time is now unfavorable.
That's correct.
So there's a difference. So home health, providing in-home care, in-home patient care is favorable. Manufacturing. So if you are a company that makes things, banks like that.
Right.
If you are a licensed professional, a CPA, an engineer, an attorney, a physician, they like doing loans for people like that. Medical supply companies, pharmaceutical companies, for-profit education companies. We talked about that the other day.
That's
remember?
a big one.
And so daycare companies, wholesalers, people who sell like wholesale apparel, jewelry.
That's supply.
That's right. Ambulatory services and companies in the security industry.
That's correct.
And there may be a couple more, but this is by and large what they consider to be favorable. And historically speaking, these companies perform well.
And really, John, those industries make up about 80 to 85% of what they would consider favorable.
Really?
Yeah, that's a big chunk of
wow.
Yeah, that's huge.
Now, that doesn't mean that you get discouraged if you're not in one of those industries. It just means that you have to get smarter about the paperwork that you prepare. And if you are not certain that you're preparing the right type of paperwork in order to get bank financing, understand something. Even with great credit, you only have so many chances at getting a bank finance loan.
That's right.
So it would behoove you to not hire someone who has experience in getting financing for customers or for their customers.
Right.
To look over your paperwork and just make certain that it makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what, you bring up a good point too, John, and perhaps we should touch on this, and that's folks, whatever it is you thought about bank loans prior to 2008, put that away. Because this is a new day.
Well, prior to 2008, I'm going to tell you, I was getting bank loans approved with just a one-sheet application.
Absolutely.
A copy of the DBA.
Right.
And this balance sheet that came on the bank form.
That's right. It's the bank form.
That we would fill out. And you could get $50,000, $60,000 immediately.
Right. That's exactly right. And those days are all gone. Okay. That's what I wanted to talk about. Today, folks, your credit score alone will not do it.
Right.
Okay. We get calls from people with great credit all day long, and your credit score by itself is just not going to do it. Now, it used to be, John, prior to 2008, somebody with a 650 credit score had an 80% chance of getting financed by a bank. Today, a person, to put this in perspective, a person with a 740 credit score has a 50% chance of getting funded by a bank.
Wow.
Can you see the difference?
Yes, huge.
It's huge. And so, and guess what, folks? Based on my sources, and I got really great sources, these policies, credit policies, are here to stay.
Let's talk about unfavorable business again. I'm wearing this dead horse out, but let's talk about what characteristics most of these industries have. And this is the thing I'd like to drive home to you so that you can understand. First of all, you want to think like the banker. That was one of the things that my mentor used to always say to me, think like the banker.
Folks, you got to switch sides. When you're looking for money, switch sides. Would you loan this company money? And let me just tell you, that's a good practice, because guess who the first investor is? You.
That's right. That's right. Now, if you look at these unfavorable businesses, this is what they have in common. They're primarily cash-based businesses.
Yes.
They have little to no receivables.
Correct.
And receivables are important to a banker.
Extremely important. And guess what, John? The reason why they're extremely important, folks, is because that's the only item on your balance sheet that's on the asset side of your balance sheet that you can create on the fly.
Explain that, on the fly.
That means that as your business is growing, you had a startup, right? And guess what? See, here's a philosophy. Let me back up, because I got to hit this.
Okay.
When you can't get credit, folks, in your business, if you can't get credit, then you have to become a creditor.
Mm-hmm. That's
All
right.
When you can't get credit, then you have to become a creditor. In other words, you got to switch sides now. When you do that, that allows you to start building accounts receivable. And guess what? Now you've not only built income, but you've built assets simultaneously. That's the power of contracting.
Now, and when you have receivables, why does the bank like that?
Well, because it's measurable.
It's measurable,
and it's an.
Tell them about the UCC code.
Well, that's the other thing. Now a bank can attach that receivable. Remember, it's an asset and it's defined. Receivables are clearly defined over a specified period of time. Because of that, there's a value, and whatever that value is, it's not like real estate. Somebody's not going to dig a hole next door and cause your receivables to go down. That's not going to happen. Right. Whatever your receivables are, they are. Bankers know that. So they're now going to file something called a UCC1, or put a lien against those particular assets.
That's correct. So they can put a lien against it in order to feel comfortable giving your business money.
That's exactly
now, we're talking about unfavorable businesses. What do they have in common? They're primarily cash businesses, little to no receivables.
No receivables.
They have suspect IRS reporting, because if it's a cash business, we don't really know what they're paying in taxes. Low collateral.
Right.
And generally the inventory is either perishable,
yep,
or it requires a specialized license in order to sell. So let's say that you're in the liquor business and the bank is going to take over your company because you didn't pay your note. Well, the bank just can't go out and sell your liquor without having a liquor license.
That's correct.
So that's why they frown on liquor stores. And historically, again, if you look at the trends that exist, they have just performed poorly.
That's exactly right. And folks, you got to remember, from a banker's point of view, that banker is going to look at everything, as well you should as a business owner. The banker is going to look at everything that's going to get between me and my payment.
That's correct.
And guess what? You ought to look at your business like that too.
Absolutely. You better overcome all those hurdles.
You better overcome all those hurdles, or come up with some really great answers of where that money is going to come from should one of those things come up that gets between you and you getting paid.
Irv, tell me this. Now, let's look at the favorable businesses.
Sure.
Now, I want to mention a few things. Generally, those industries that I mentioned that were favorable, they tend to have lots of collateral.
Right.
Their collateral has good shelf life.
Yes.
Which means that it's not perishable.
Right.
They have lots of receivables.
Yes.
Which we can attach liens to as bankers.
That's correct.
And they have low or no cash transactions, and
that's right.
That means that business has good financial records. It's easy to track their income.
That's right.
And that stands out to a
banker.
banker.
That means they have good internal controls because they have to.
Man.
Yeah, and that's great when I can see that.
Well, depending on what business that you're in, as we said before, just because your industry may be unfavorable, it does not mean that it's unfinanceable, but you do have to be able to overcome those hurdles. You want to think like your banker, and because we have one sitting right here on the show, we're privy to the knowledge that's in his head. More in a moment.
Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. And listen, if you are looking for a great customer relationship management system, go out to salesnexus.com. You can see the banner right behind us if you're viewing us right here on ustream.tv at Cruz and Hughes. Go out there, download your free trial copy for 30 days. It will even allow you the opportunity to populate your brand new CRM with some new leads. More in a moment, right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. And today we've been talking about unfavorable industries, high-risk industries, and favorable industries as it relates to how your bank views the industry in which you're in.
Yeah.
And you need to know that.
You need to know what industries are preferred by your lenders, folks, and we've talked about that today.
Yeah, we have. I think we've done a good job in covering that. One of the points that we do want to keep driving home is that just because you're in a business that's either high risk or an industry rather that's high risk or an industry that's unfavorable, it does not mean that you cannot get bank financing. It just means that your paperwork is going to have to be that much more prepared.
Right. And you know what, folks, that's really where a consultant can help you, because when you go and you know you're in a high risk industry when you started, you know that you're in an industry that suffered losses, you've got to show that you've got a great command of what those risk mitigating elements are going to be in your business model. And if you call those to the forefront, call those to the attention of the lender, it's going to help you that much more get access to the money you need.
Next week, I want to make certain that you guys tune in with us. We're going to take a holiday for the Thanksgiving holiday. We want to say that to all of you who watch Cruz and Hughes, that we wish you a happy, safe holiday with your families. Next week is going to be business loan week, bank week. We're anything financial. If you have any questions, we always encourage you to give us a call at 347-857-3958. We're going to talk about business loans going into the week, the different types of business loans, and we're really going to turn Irv upside down and get more information out of him.
Going to shake it out.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in to Small Business Today, which has been brought to you by Small Business Today Magazine. You can log on to www.smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com to have your free digital monthly copy sent to your email inbox. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. Until next week, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you soon.